That man loves me so much.
And now I'm stuck here.
This is SNL Saturday Night Live actually in America. Not this new UK version, but the American version on Weekend Update has gone for her again. And this was the most savage tick yet. I mean, they actually call her a tick. Watch this.
Yeah.
Okay. King Charles visited the U.S. to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain and to seek the release of a British hostage being held by an American.
I'm almost speechless.
Also, the success of the brand is rooted in the fact that you can feel when I am involved in something.
Colin Jost stared straight into the camera at the Weekend Update desk and dropped a line that instantly lit up the internet. This wasn't some random late-night joke tossed out without thought. It happened on national television, on the one comedy show politicians, celebrities, and public figures hate being dragged into, because once your name lands there, the whole country starts talking.
Saturday Night Live once again slams Meghan Markle as she is spiraling after burning all of the bridges.
Jost called Meghan Markle a name directly. No hidden meaning, no coded jab, no clever metaphor buried inside a joke. He said it clearly, right out in the open. And at the exact same moment, a giant photo of Prince Harry and Meghan flashed across the screen for everyone watching at home to see. The reaction inside the studio was wild. Nobody looked uncomfortable. Nobody sat there in silence.
Children don't know who their daddy.
The crowd exploded with laughter, and Jost himself almost cracked up trying to keep a straight face. Then, just like that, he kept moving through the segment like nothing happened. But online, the clip was already taking off at full speed. Within barely 36 hours, that short 9-second moment had spread everywhere. Page 6 picked it up, Sky News Australia jumped on it, GB News talked about it non-stop, the Daily Mail pushed it hard, and royal gossip accounts across X reposted the clip like crazy. People couldn't stop talking about Meghan Markle getting called out on NBC in primetime, with Harry's face right there beside her. And here's what makes this even crazier. This was not some accidental slip-up or off-the-cuff mistake.
Meghan Markle is once again getting trolled. Oh, poor Meghan, the most trolled person in the entire world.
SNL does not work like that, especially during Weekend Update. Every joke gets checked, rewritten, approved, and timed down to the second before it ever reaches live television. Every single line on Weekend Update goes through a serious approval process before it ever reaches live television. We're not talking about one person glancing over a script and saying, "Looks good." Nope. A joke like that gets reviewed by multiple writers, producers, and even network lawyers, whose entire careers revolve around avoiding lawsuits and public backlash. So when Colin Jost read that line off the cue cards, it meant somebody at NBC saw the joke, understood exactly what it implied, and still gave it the green light anyway. And that says a lot. Because networks usually play it safe when it comes to royal drama, celebrity power couples, and public figures with massive media influence. But this time, NBC clearly knew the audience would go along with it. More than that, they knew the audience was waiting for it.
The hatred for Meghan is all over the place. She has burned way too many bridges, so it doesn't surprise me at all. And hence why we're getting jokes like this, because she's become the joke. Meghan Markle is completely a joke at this point.
The laughter in the studio wasn't hesitant or awkward. It was loud, immediate, and almost relieved, like viewers had been holding these opinions in for years, and finally heard someone on mainstream TV say it out loud. So how did America's biggest comedy show go from treating Harry and Meghan like untouchable Hollywood royalty to openly joking about them like they're some chaotic public disaster? That shift didn't happen overnight. What you're looking at is nearly 8 straight years of public opinion slowly changing piece by piece, joke after joke, headline after headline, until even giant media networks stopped acting like they needed to protect the Sussex brand anymore.
That I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
Yeah, everyone wants to see.
Now look, to keep this fair, maybe some people think this is reading too deeply into one comedy segment. That's possible. But when the exact same kind of joke keeps landing over and over again on the same network for nearly a decade, eventually it stops feeling random. At some point, a pattern starts forming, and people notice it. Now rewind exactly 1 year earlier, May 10th, 2025. Same Weekend Update desk, same Colin Jost, same Saturday night audience ready to react. The screen suddenly cuts to a smiling photo of Harry and Meghan, fresh off their appearance at Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert the night before. They looked polished, glowing, and completely camera-ready. But the second the image appeared, the audience completely lost it. The laughter hit instantly, and even Jost briefly broke character, trying not to laugh himself.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
You could literally see him fight to pull it together before continuing the joke. And within hours, that clip was spreading everywhere online. Social media pages reposted it nonstop, entertainment blogs clipped the moment, and royal watchers across the internet started dissecting every second of it. But the bigger detail here is what the joke was actually implying. A major American comedian on one of the biggest TV shows in the country joked that Britain, Harry's own home country, supposedly viewed taking the Sussexes back as such a problem that even trade deals were safer territory. That's not some tiny throwaway jab anymore. That's mainstream television openly framing Harry and Meghan as a running international punchline.
Also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
The whole premise of that joke was brutal when you really break it down. The message wasn't subtle at all. The punchline basically framed Harry and Meghan as so unwanted, so politically awkward, that not even a sitting US president negotiating with the United Kingdom could convince Britain to deal with them again. That's a wild shift considering these were once two of the most celebrated public figures on the planet. At one point, they were viewed as the future of the monarchy, the modern royal couple meant to refresh the institution for a new generation. Now, suddenly, late-night television was treating them like an international headache nobody wanted responsibility for. And the timing made the joke hit even harder. This aired during the exact same week Prince Harry was publicly asking the BBC for some kind of reconciliation with his family back in the UK. At the same time, Meghan was busy promoting her newest Netflix project and trying to push forward with the Sussex media brand in America. All of that was happening at once, and Saturday Night Live looked at the entire situation and basically turned it into one giant punchline. The implication was harsh. Even Britain supposedly preferred trade negotiations over bringing the Sussexes back into the royal fold.
Donald Trump has had enough of them. He's privately savaged Prince Harry during King Charles's visit to America. Trump remarked to a British visitor when the conversation turned to Harry, "Can you take him back?" Everyone is fed up with the grifters. I mean, Trump has clearly had enough of the woe is me, ginger and whinger.
Now, usually, moments like this would trigger instant online chaos. For years, loyal Sussex supporters would flood social media defending Harry and Meghan anytime a celebrity, journalist, or TV host took shots at them. But this time, almost nothing happened. The usual outrage wave barely showed up. The clip just kept spreading wider and wider across the internet without much resistance at all. Sky News Australia replayed the segment repeatedly. Page 6 embedded the clip into articles. Royal commentators all over YouTube, X, and television started discussing it non-stop. And that silence from defenders stood out almost as much as the joke itself. Back in 2018 or 2019, a sketch like this would have triggered massive online battles for days. But by 2025, the organized pushback barely existed anymore. The mood had clearly shifted, and people noticed it fast. What's even crazier is that the joke almost felt like a setup for the much bigger hostage situation line that came a year later in May 2026.
I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
Same show, same writer's room, same targets. And once again, the audience reacted exactly the same way with loud laughter and almost zero hesitation. But here's the part that should probably worry the Sussex camp the most. These jokes didn't suddenly appear because of one recent controversy or one awkward interview. SNL has been taking shots at Harry and Meghan for years now. This pattern goes all the way back before Archie was even born. Rewind to April 13th, 2019. Saturday Night Live aired a fake home video-style sketch called Royal Baby Video. And even back then, the show was already planting the idea that public fascination with the Sussexes was starting to shift from admiration into comedy territory. Emma Stone was hosting that night, and the sketch instantly got attention. Right in the middle of the fake royal family video, one line landed especially hard. "Thank you, Gran." Huge laughter from the audience. And here's the important part. That reaction was not edited down, softened, or hidden afterward. NBC aired the whole thing in primetime exactly as it happened, with the crowd fully leaning into the joke. Then Cecily Strong, playing Kate Middleton with this tight, frustrated expression, delivered the line people still talk about years later. At the time, it sounded like a sharp comedy jab. Looking back now, a lot of royal watchers think it aged into something much bigger. And remember the timeline here.
The irony of her calling Lauren Sanchez trashy, but now quietly realizing, oh crap, I should have befriended her more, is so hilarious to me. Because Lauren Sanchez, same type of thing, but she bagged someone richer and actually who has power, unlike Harry. Meghan must be so damn jealous of that.
This happened in 2019. That's 2 full years before the Oprah interview shook up the royal family headlines. 3 years before Harry released Spare. Before all the explosive interviews, accusations, documentaries, and public fallout that dominated the news cycle. SNL writers were already framing the marriage as tense, dramatic, and headed toward conflict. That's what shocked people afterward. The show seemed to pick up on the growing friction long before the public fully saw it unfold. What makes it even wilder is that none of it got pushed back publicly in any major way. Meghan's team didn't force a correction. Harry's side didn't demand an apology. The online backlash never really gained momentum either. The sketch stayed up, the clips spread online, and the jokes kept circulating long after the episode aired. And that half-traitor line? It basically became internet shorthand in royal commentary spaces anytime Meghan got caught in another controversy or media storm. One quick joke turned into a running meme that somehow survived multiple governments, endless headlines, and years of non-stop royal drama. A lot of people still bring up McKinnon's cold, perfectly timed delivery because it hit with that mix of sarcasm and confidence that late-night audiences love. And think about how bold that really was for American television.
Look who it is. It's one of my ex-girlfriends. Excellent. Miss Tinsley Granger-Gash.
Yeah.
Hi, Tins. You want to say something to my future child?
Hello, little baby. Hello, little tiny baby.
Little close,
Little
Tins,
baby.
right?
Your dad broke up with me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
The joke was delivered through a version of the Queen herself on a hugely popular NBC show connected to an audience that includes millions of viewers around the world. The writers knew it would stir reactions, and instead of outrage, most people laughed along with it. Now keep all of that in mind, because before getting to what many viewers still call the harshest SNL Sussex joke ever aired, there's another royal moment that changed the tone of the show completely. This one involved Prince Andrew. January 22, 2022. Andrew had just lost his military titles and royal patronages following the Virginia Giuffre civil settlement, and the scandal surrounding him was dominating international headlines. The atmosphere around the royal family was already tense, and Weekend Update jumped right into it without hesitation. Colin Jost looked down at his cue cards and fired off 2 jokes back to back. The first one was a setup line about Andrew supposedly deleting Twitter after realizing it wasn't the app filled with dancing teenagers. The audience laughed immediately because they knew exactly where the joke was heading. But then came the second line, and that's the one royal commentators kept quoting years later. The wording was so sharp and direct that it instantly became one of those late-night clips people repost constantly online. Jost delivered it with almost no reaction on his face, barely even blinking, while the audience exploded around him. The joke framed the scandal in a way that was shocking, blunt, and impossible to ignore, showing just how far SNL was willing to push royal comedy once public opinion shifted. Colin Jost looked straight into the camera and called Prince Andrew Britain's most eligible bachelor in the driest tone possible. No dramatic pause, no giant setup, just a cold delivery that made the audience completely lose it. The joke worked because of how casually it was said, almost like the punchline didn't even need explaining anymore. By that point, Andrew's public image had already fallen apart so badly that late-night comedians barely had to build context for the audience to understand the target. Now fast forward to November 1st, 2025. Just 2 days earlier, King Charles had officially removed Andrew's princely title, a move that instantly became global headline news. That week on Weekend Update, Michael Che took over the desk and delivered the line that sparked some of the strongest media reactions SNL had received all month. Entertainment outlets jumped on it immediately. Variety openly described the joke as savage, and clips from the segment started spreading online almost as soon as the episode ended. Che delivered the punchline on national television with the kind of confidence that made the studio freeze for half a second, before erupting into loud laughter and shocked reactions all at once. And context really matters here. By early 2026, Andrew's reputation in public discussion had become deeply tied to scandal and controversy. Following reports surrounding misconduct allegations and his legal troubles, comedians and media figures were openly treating him as one of the most damaged public figures connected to the royal family. It's important to note that allegations and charges are not convictions, and public commentary often goes much further than legal conclusions. But what stood out about the SNL moment wasn't just the joke itself. It was the fact that NBC's writers and producers clearly felt comfortable enough to put that kind of material on air in front of millions of viewers. That says a lot about where Prince Andrew now sits in American pop culture and comedy. The hesitation that networks once had around mocking the royal family so directly seems almost completely gone now. What used to feel untouchable has become regular late-night material.
Oh, come on, your grandpa, Prince Charles, right? Say hello, Dad.
Hello.
All right, do you want to say anything to your future grandchild?
Yes. Hello.
Then came the moment that tied the entire royal comedy arc together. May 2nd, 2026. Same Weekend Update episode, same audience, same segment where Colin Jost delivered the Meghan hostage situation joke that exploded across social media. After the Ma'am Donnie joke and after the Harry and Meghan punchline, Jost closed the segment with another jab aimed directly at Andrew. A photo appeared on screen showing Andrew leaving a police station, and the audience reaction was immediate. First shocked gasps, then huge laughter rolling across the studio. Within less than a day, major media outlets, including HuffPost, Rolling Stone, and Variety, were already writing articles about the clip and replaying the segment online. The phrase attached to the joke spread quickly because it was short, sharp, and easy for internet culture to latch onto. In just a few words, SNL had managed to reduce one of the most controversial royals of the modern era into a late-night punchline that people repeated nonstop across social media. And that's what really stands out about the bigger picture here. The same Weekend Update segment turned Meghan into the center of one brutal joke, while also using Andrew as the closing punchline to end the royal portion of the show entirely. That framing says a lot about how SNL now presents the monarchy to American audiences. Meghan and Harry are portrayed as chaotic public figures trapped in endless controversy. Andrew is treated as the family's biggest scandal, and King Charles often gets reduced to the exhausted figure stuck somewhere in the middle trying to manage the fallout.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince and current river corpse, has been arrested and now may be banned from ever taking the throne. In fact, the royal family said the only way he can become king is if it comes down to either him or Meghan.
Now we get to the moment longtime viewers probably recognized immediately the second it aired. December 16th, 2023. The Wales family releases their annual Christmas card photo, and at first, everything looks normal. But then the internet notices something strange in the image. Suddenly, people online are zooming in, circling details, comparing shadows, pointing out edits, and questioning whether parts of the picture had been digitally altered. Within hours, the story completely exploded. News outlets everywhere started covering the growing Photoshop controversy. Social media turned into a non-stop debate zone, and before long, major photo agencies reportedly pulled the image from circulation. For royal watchers, it became one of the most chaotic media moments surrounding a royal family photo in years. People could not stop talking about it. Then, Saturday Night Live stepped right into the middle of the storm. Colin Jost looked directly into the camera, paused for perfect comedic timing, and delivered the joke that instantly took over the internet. The audience reaction was huge. Loud laughter, shocked reactions, the whole studio lighting up at once. And then came the graphic on screen, a mock-up version of the Wales family Christmas card, altered with a pixelated insert that pushed the joke even further. Visually, it was one of the sharpest comedy edits the show had done involving the royals in a long time. The clip spread globally within hours. Entertainment blogs reposted it, royal commentary pages clipped it apart frame by frame, and social media users turned screenshots into memes almost immediately. But what made this joke hit differently from the others was the deeper context behind it. Regular viewers of this channel already know the history here. We talked before about Meghan's Bondi Beach photo moment and the online debates surrounding editing accusations tied to images connected to her brand and public appearances. SNL basically took all those separate controversies, blended them together with the Wales family Photoshop scandal, and compressed the entire royal internet discourse into one fast 12-second punchline. That's the kind of cultural shortcut comedy shows love. Royal commentators can spend months debating details, writing think pieces, and analyzing public reactions. But SNL managed to summarize years of online royal drama in one joke that millions of people instantly understood. And honestly, this is probably the part that should concern Meghan's PR team the most. When you look at the full timeline, the shift is impossible to ignore. Back in 2018, SNL mostly framed Meghan as the exciting outsider joining an old-fashioned royal institution. The comedy was aimed more at stiff British traditions and awkward aristocratic behavior, while Meghan was treated as the fresh modern figure entering the palace world. Then, by 2019, the tone had already changed. Suddenly, she became the half-American, half-traitor punchline floating around royal comedy circles. By 2021, even bigger cultural conversations were entering the sketches. Daniel Kaluuya delivered the now-famous line about being what the royal family was worried the baby would look like, and the audience reaction showed just how deeply royal controversies had entered mainstream entertainment. Then came 2023, where Meghan's image was indirectly tied into the giant Photoshop scandal conversation, dominating royal headlines. By 2025, the jokes had escalated even further, with Weekend Update openly framing Harry and Meghan as some kind of diplomatic burden caught between Britain and America. And once a comedy show builds that kind of long-running narrative around public figures, it becomes much harder to control how audiences see them afterward. By 2026, the tone had shifted completely. The way SNL talked about Meghan Markle was no longer framed like playful celebrity teasing or harmless royal satire. At that point, the jokes were landing as full-blown commentary on reputation, public image, and the way audiences now viewed the Sussex brand in America. And when you line up the timeline year by year, it starts looking less like random comedy and more like a running public scorecard tracking how dramatically perceptions changed over time. That's what makes this whole situation stand out so much. Comedy shows drift in and out of trends all the time, but this wasn't one isolated sketch or one awkward joke that disappeared after a weekend. The writers kept returning to the same themes year after year, and each time the audience reaction seemed louder, quicker, and more confident. No matter how many polished Netflix appearances, glossy interviews, lifestyle launches, or carefully curated social media moments appeared afterward, SNL kept circling back to the same image of Harry and Meghan as figures surrounded by nonstop drama and public tension. And honestly, when you look at the bigger picture, it's hard not to notice how dramatic the shift has been. 8 years earlier, Meghan entered the royal family with enormous support from much of the American media world. Major outlets celebrated her arrival into the monarchy. She was presented as modern, refreshing, charismatic, and capable of changing how younger audiences connected with the royals. At that point, criticism toward her in mainstream American entertainment circles was relatively rare. Fast forward to now, and the atmosphere feels completely different. By 2026, some late-night comedy writers were using Meghan's image in the same style of harsh royal satire that previously targeted Prince Andrew after his scandals. That's a massive change in tone. Public brands usually don't shift that sharply because of one bad headline. It happens gradually through repeated controversies, interviews, public reactions, and media fatigue building over time. And for anyone thinking SNL only recently jumped into this dynamic, the timeline goes back much further than people remember.
She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She's just got lots.
Rewind all the way to May 19th, 2018. Harry and Meghan had just gotten married at Windsor Castle in front of a global audience. The ceremony was massive. Emotional music, giant crowds, white roses everywhere, celebrity guests, gospel performances, all the huge royal wedding energy that dominated television for days. Millions of viewers watched what was being framed as a modern royal fairy tale. Then later, that same night, Weekend Update aired live. Michael Che opened with a joke that immediately got a huge reaction from the audience. And what's fascinating is that the very first major SNL punchline connected to Meghan didn't actually target her directly at first. Instead, it mocked Prince Harry in a way that also reflected back onto the marriage itself. The joke painted Harry as immature and dependent, basically turning the royal fairy tale narrative into something far more cynical for laughs. On the exact night of the wedding, SNL had already planted the idea that this glamorous royal story might not be as perfect as it looked. Then came April 10th, 2021, just 1 month after the Oprah interview shook global headlines. Daniel Kaluuya hosted SNL, and during his monologue, he delivered the line that instantly exploded online. The audience reaction was enormous because everyone immediately understood the reference. Overnight, clips of the moment spread through Newsweek, USA Today, reaction channels, and social media compilations everywhere. A deeply emotional conversation connected to the Oprah interview had suddenly been transformed into mainstream comedy material on one of America's biggest stages. Then the momentum kept going. February 4th, 2023. Spare had been out for about a month, and royal drama was dominating entertainment coverage nonstop. That week, SNL aired a fake British rap sketch titled Millie Pounds and Shirty, featuring James Austin Johnson, Devin Walker, and Michael Che. The lyrics flew fast, packed with royal references, media jokes, and exaggerated takes on the chaos surrounding the monarchy at the time, showing once again how deeply Harry and Meghan had become part of recurring late-night comedy culture. The joke hit hard the second it landed. One line about interracial dating, followed by the punchline, "Not today, Satan," and the audience absolutely lost control. the reaction inside the studio was instant. Loud laughter, cheering, people doubling over at how direct the joke sounded. And almost overnight, that phrase spread everywhere across royal commentary spaces online. Royal watchers started repeating it constantly on social media, especially whenever new controversies involving Meghan popped up. Memes, reaction posts, edited clips, quote tweets. The line basically became internet shorthand for royal drama connected to the Sussexes. What started as a quick comedy punchline turned into part of the online vocabulary surrounding royal discourse for years afterward. And when you lay out the full timeline, the progression becomes impossible to ignore. 2018. Harry gets framed as the basement dweller joke during the wedding coverage. 2021. Daniel Kaluuya's monologue turns one of the Oprah interview's biggest talking points into a giant audience laugh moment. 2023. Millie Pounds and Shirty transforms Spare-era royal chaos into parody rap comedy. Later in 2023, the Wales family Christmas card scandal gets blended into Meghan-related internet discourse through the now-famous finger gag. 2025, Harry and Meghan become the center of jokes about international politics and trade negotiations. 2026, the hostage situation line lands on primetime television, while the audience laughs without hesitation. That kind of shift does not happen overnight. The audience didn't suddenly wake up one day and completely change their view of the Sussexes. Over nearly a decade, SNL slowly shaped the framing joke by joke, sketch by sketch, reaction by reaction, until these punchlines became expected instead of shocking. By the time the 2026 material aired, the crowd wasn't reacting with surprise anymore. They were reacting with familiarity. But here's the part almost nobody is talking about yet. As of this year, the British side has officially entered the game too, March 21st, 2026. SNL UK launches on Sky and Peacock. Huge moment. Tina Fey hosts the first episode, and suddenly, Britain has its own version of the legendary late-night comedy format. The new Weekend Update desk features Anya Magliano and Patty Young, bringing that sharp British sarcasm and dry humor style straight into the royal conversation immediately. And their opening line set the tone fast. The segment kicked off with, "Coming up on Weekend Update, pedophilia, but first, war." The studio reaction was immediate, because British comedy tends to push darker and more uncomfortable material than American network TV usually allows. Right away, viewers realized this version of the show was not planning to play things safely. The second segment reportedly focused heavily on Prince Andrew, especially stories surrounding renovations to his new residence, and reports about luxury upgrades like Sky TV installations. The jokes leaned hard into that cold British understatement style, where the delivery sounds calm while the actual punchline cuts deep. Some of the later material reportedly went even further into controversial territory surrounding Andrew's legal and public image issues, far beyond what most American late-night shows would comfortably air. And that's the real development changing everything now. SNL UK gives British comedians a direct platform to mock the royal family from inside their own cultural perspective. British references, British politics, British tabloid humor, British frustration with the monarchy, all of it suddenly becomes part of the format in a way American television could never fully capture. Prince Andrew has reportedly become one of the show's main recurring targets already, but Harry and Meghan keep getting folded into the wider royal comedy narrative too. Their names pop up across multiple sketches, updates, and references, because at this point, the Sussex storyline has become deeply tied to modern royal satire on both sides of the Atlantic. And according to early reports, Sky's audience numbers for the launch episodes were massive, showing there's clearly huge public interest in this style of royal comedy right now. Which brings everything full circle. Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, American SNL airs the Meghan hostage situation joke. Meanwhile, British SNL is hammering Andrew with even harsher material from London. And somehow, Harry and Meghan, sitting in Montecito working on media projects and brand launches, have become one of the most joked about celebrity couples across 2 continents at the exact same time. 8 years ago, Harry and Meghan were being sold to the world as the ultimate modern royal fairy tale. Massive wedding, global headlines, non-stop media praise, celebrity backing, and millions of people convinced they were about to change the monarchy forever. Fast forward to this week, and now they're turning into the opening punchline on major comedy shows across 2 continents. That is a dramatic shift, and it didn't happen by accident. At the start of this video, I said maybe I was reading too much into a few comedy sketches. After looking at the full timeline, I don't even believe that anymore. The clip numbers speak for themselves. The audience reactions speak for themselves. The fact that networks, commentators, and outlets like Sky News Australia keep replaying these moments over and over says everything about where public perception has landed right now. SNL in America and now SNL UK have basically turned the Sussex story into an ongoing comedy storyline told year by year through punchlines, sketches, and viral moments. And unless something major changes around their public image, that's probably not stopping anytime soon. The wild part? For comedy writers, there's still endless material to work with. The rough part for the Sussex brand is that most of the headlines keep writing the jokes for them. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on how the public perception of Harry and Meghan changed so dramatically over the years.